The Miami sun was relentless that first day, a thick, golden haze pressing down on us as we stepped out of the cab. Me, Mark, and my wife, Lisa, her sunglasses perched high, her laugh cutting through the hum of Ocean Drive. It was supposed to be a break, a week of sand and cocktails to shake off the gray slog of our Ohio winter, and I've been looking forward to it. The palm trees swaying lazy in the breeze, the pastel hotels glowing against the sky, the promise of something easy between us again. We'd been married 9 years, and lately things had felt stretched like a rubber band pulled just shy of snapping. Not fights, not anything you could name, just a quiet drift, her eyes on her phone more than me, her smiles a little too quick. I thought Miami might fix it, might pull us back. The air smelled of salt and sunscreen, and I breathed it in deep, lugging our bags into the hotel lobby while she tipped the driver, her voice bright, almost too bright. Our room was on the 5th floor, all glass and white linen, with a balcony overlooking the water, waves rolling slow, glinting under the sun, a view that should have felt like a gift. Lisa tossed her bag on the bed, kicked off her sandals, and stepped outside, leaning on the railing, her sundress fluttering in the breeze. "This is perfect," she said, glancing back at me, and I nodded. "Yeah, it is," my voice steady, matching hers. She smiled, that quick one again, and I set the bags down, ignoring the faint tug in my gut, the one that had been there since we'd booked the trip. We'd been here before, vacations, new places, and it always started like this. Her light, me trying to catch up. I chalked it up to jet lag, to the heat, to the way the humidity clung to my skin like a second shirt. The room's AC kicked on, a low hum, and I let it settle me, let it drown out that tug for a while. We hit the beach that afternoon, towels spread on the sand, the ocean loud and alive, kids shouting, gulls wheeling overhead. Lisa is stretched out beside me, her phone in hand, snapping pictures, the water, the sky, herself with that angled grin she'd perfected. I watched her half dozing under the sun, the heat sinking into my bones, and thought maybe this was it, the reset we needed. Then her phone buzzed once, twice, a quick burst, and she flipped it over fast, too fast, her fingers brushing it under her towel. "Friend," she said, not looking at me, and I nodded again. Sure, soft, easy, though that tug pulled harder now, sharp against the haze. The sun dipped lower, shadows stretching long across the sand, and I stared out at the waves, listening to them crash, feeling the hum of something I couldn't place, something warm, something wrong, simmering under the Miami light. The sun was lower by the second day, a fat orange ball sinking into the horizon, painting the Miami beach in streaks of pink and gold. Beautiful, sure, but heavy too, like it was pressing the air down around us. Lisa and I had spent the morning wandering South Beach, her dragging me into boutiques with overpriced hats, me sipping a lukewarm beer from a street vendor while she tried on sunglasses she didn't buy. It was easy enough, her chatter about the colors, the breeze ruffling her hair, the way she'd bump my shoulder and laugh. I want to sink into it, let the vacation blur out that tug from yesterday, but it stuck with me. Her phone, that quick friend, the way her eyes flicked away when I'd asked who it was. She'd brushed it off, just Sarah, you know how she is, and I'd let it go, nodded like it made sense, though Sarah didn't text like that, not in bursts, not with that kind of urgency. The waves rolled in steady, a low roar against the chatter of the crowd, and I watched her, trying to see past the surface. We'd settled on the sand again that afternoon, same spot as before, towels stretched out, the ocean sprawling wide, the heat still clinging despite the sun's dip. Lisa was on her stomach, phone propped in front of her, thumbs tapping fast. Texting, I figured, though she tilted the screen just enough that I couldn't catch it. The gulls screeched overhead, and I lay back, arms behind my head, letting the warmth soak in, letting the noise drown out the questions piling up. "You're quiet today," she said after a while, glancing over with a half smile, and I shrugged, just soaking it in, my voice easy, though it wasn't true. She nodded, went back to her phone, and I stared up at the sky, the pink bleeding into purple, feeling that tug twist into something sharper. Not anger, not yet, but a weight I couldn't shake. Then it happened, small, quick, but loud enough to snap me out of the haze. Her phone buzzed again, a single sharp pulse, and she grabbed it fast, too fast, flipping it face down on the towel, her fingers lingering there like she was guarding it. "Who's that?" I asked, casual, keeping my eyes on the sky, and she laughed, light, a little forced. "Oh, just Sarah again. She's obsessed with this trip." I didn't push, didn't sit up, just let the words settle. Sarah, twice now, though Sarah never cared much for texting, not like this. The waves kept crashing, steady and slow, and I turned my head, caught her typing again, her lips twitching into a smile she didn't share with me. The beach stretched out around us, kids kicking sand, couples laughing, but it felt smaller somehow, like the space between us was growing, swallowing the noise, leaving me with that hum in my chest. I stood up then, gonna grab a drink, I said, brushing sand off my legs, and she nodded, barely looking up. "Bring me a water?" I walked off, the sand hot under my feet, the crowd parting around me, and glanced back once, her head bent low, phone glowing, that smile still there, soft and secret. The tug wasn't a tug anymore. It was a pull, deep and steady, dragging me towards something I didn't want to name. The sun sank lower, shadows pooling long and dark, and I kept walking, the ocean's roar fading behind me, wondering what I'd find if I looked too close. The night air rolled in thick that evening, warm and salty, carrying the pulse of Miami's nightlife. Distant music thumping from the clubs, laughter spilling out onto the streets, the hum of neon buzzing overhead. We'd left the beach behind, traded sand for the hotel bar downstairs. All sleek glass and dim lights, the kind of place that felt alive, but not loud. Not yet. Lisa sat across from me at a high-top table, her sundress swapped for something tighter, her hair loose and catching the glow of the bar's lanterns. She sipped a mojito, the ice clinking soft against the glass, and I nursed a beer, cold, bitter, grounding me while the room spun its own rhythm around us. She was chatty tonight, more than yesterday. Stories about the bartender's accent, the couple arguing by the pool earlier, her voice bright, almost too bright again. I smiled, nodded, let her fill the space, but that pull from the beach was still there, heavier now, tugging at the edges of every word she said. Her phone sat between us on the table, screen dark, a quiet little sentinel I couldn't stop glancing at. She'd left it there when she went to the bar for a refill, casual, unguarded, like it didn't matter, and I'd watched her walk away, her hips swaying easy, the crowd parting for her. The pull sharpened then, a sudden itch I couldn't ignore, and I reached for it, slow, my fingers brushing the case, telling myself I'd just check the time. The screen lit up, no password, never had been, and there it was, a text, unread, glowing white against the black. "Missed you on the sand today, Carino." It said no name, just a number, a 52 country code I didn't recognize right off. Mexico. Maybe. I'd figure that out later. My chest tightened, not fast, not loud. Just a slow squeeze like the air was thinning around me. Carino. I knew that one, a Spanish word, soft, intimate. The bar's hum faded, the mojito glass sweating untouched, and I set the phone back, exact same spot, before she turned around. She slid back in her seat, drink in hand. "They make these strong," she said, laughing, and I forced a grin. Good thing we're walking distance. She didn't notice, didn't catch the way my voice flattened, the way my eyes lingered on her phone as it buzzed again. Once quick, ignored. The pull was a rope now, coiled tight, and I sipped my beer, let the cold burn my throat, let it steady me. "You smell different," I said after a minute, casual, testing, and she blinked, tilted her head. "What do you mean?" I shrugged, "No, just something new." She laughed it off, probably the hotel soap, but I caught it earlier on the balcony after the beach. A whiff of cologne, sharp and woody, not mine, not hers, drifting off her when she'd leaned close. The breeze had carried it then, and now it was back, faint but there, mixing with the mint of her drink. The bar pulsed around us, voices rising, glasses clinking, and she kept talking, something about a boat toward tomorrow, her hands waving, her smile wide. I nodded, watched her, saw the way her eyes flicked her phone once, twice before she tucked it into her purse. Out of sight, not out of mind. The cologne lingered, the text burned behind my eyes, and I leaned back, the beer bottle cool against my palm, feeling the night shift. Not loud, not sudden, just a slow tilt into something I couldn't unsee. The music thumped on, and I waited quiet, letting the rope pull me deeper. The Miami night deepened around us, a warm, restless sprawl. Neon flickering off the streets, salsa beats spilling from open doors, the air thick with salt and sweat. We'd left the hotel bar behind. Lisa's idea. Let's dance, she'd said, her mojito buzz lighting her up, tugging me toward a club a block down Ocean Drive. I'd gone along, her hand in mine, her laugh loud over the crowd. But that rope inside me tightened with every step, the text, Carino, that cologne still clinging to her like a shadow. The club was a crush of bodies, lights strobing red and blue, the bass thudding through the floor into my bones. She pulled me onto the dance floor, her hips swaying easy to the rhythm, her sundress catching the glow. And I tried, move with her, let the music drown out the hum in my head. She looked alive, free, her eyes bright in a way I hadn't seen in months. And for a moment, I almost forgot, almost let the heat and the beat pull me under too. But then I saw him, across the room, near the bar, leaning against the counter with a drink in hand. Dark hair, sharp jaw, a loose white shirt open at the collar. Mexican, maybe, the way he carried himself, the easy sway as he watched the crowd. Our eyes didn't meet. Not yet, but Lisa's did. A quick glance, sharp and gone, her smile faltering just a beat before she turned back to me, her hands on my shoulders, pulling me closer. Having fun, she shouted over the music, and I nodded, yeah, my voice lost in the noise, though I wasn't sure I meant it. The rope yanked hard now, and I shifted, kept him in my peripheral, tall, lean, chatting with the guy beside him, laughing loud, his gestures big and warm. Gay, I thought, the way he touched the other man's arm, the tilt of his head, and it clicked slow like a lock turning. That cologne, woody and sharp, the kind of man like him might wear, not some hotel soap lie. The song changed, faster, wilder, and Lisa spun away, her hair whipping, her laugh ringing out, but I stayed still, the crowd closing around me, sweat prickling my neck. I watched her dance, watched her glow, and then I saw it again, her eyes flicking back, finding him, a smile curling soft and secret, not for me. He grinned too, raised his glass, subtle but there, and my chest went cold. Not loud, not a shout, just a quiet freeze under the heat. I stepped back, let the bodies fill the gap, made my way to the edge of the floor. Need air, I muttered when she grabbed my arm, and she nodded. Okay, don't be long, her voice light, oblivious. Outside, the night hit me, humid, alive, the street buzzing with cabs and voices, and I leaned against the wall, the club's pulse thumping through the brick. That man, that look, her smile, they stacked up, pieces I couldn't unsee, couldn't unfeel. I didn't go back right away, stood there, hands in my pockets, the neon washing over me, the ocean a dark murmur beyond the strip. Lisa was still in there, dancing, maybe closer to him now, maybe not, didn't know, didn't want to know yet. The rope was a chain, heavy and sure, and I breathed slow, tasting the salt in the air, feeling the night shift around me. Something was breaking, not loud, not fast, but steady like a tide pulling out. I'd find out soon, and I wasn't sure I'd like what I saw. The morning light sliced through the hotel room blinds, sharp and golden, spilling across the white sheets where Lisa still slept, her arm flung out, her breath slow, the sundress from last night crumpled on the floor. I'd barely slept, the club's bass still echoing in my skull. That man's grin burned behind my eyes. The way he'd raised his glass, the way Lisa's smile had answered it, soft and secret. I'd gone back inside after a while, found her laughing with a group, him gone from the bar, and we'd stumbled to the room past midnight. Her tipsy, Me quiet, the chain in my chest pulling tighter. Now it was dawn, the ocean humming faint beyond the glass, and I sat on the balcony, coffee cooling in my hands, staring at the waves while the city woke up below. Horns honking, gulls crying. The hum of life I couldn't feel part of. She left her phone on the nightstand, screen dark, and it called to me. Not loud, not urgent, just a steady whisper I couldn't ignore. I waited till she stirred, heard the bed creak, the rustle of sheets as she stretched, then slipped inside, casual, like I'd just come in for a refill. "Morning," I said, pouring more coffee, and she mumbled something back, groggy, reaching for her phone with half-closed eyes. I watched her unlock it, thumb quick, practiced, and scroll, her face blank at first, then tightening just a flicker before she set it down. "Everything okay?" I asked, voice light, stirring my mug, and she nodded. "Yeah, just friend stuff." That same line, softer now, less sure. The chain twisted, cold and heavy, and I smiled. "Small, easy, Sarah again." She hesitated, a beat too long, then laughed, "Who else?" and rolled out of bed, heading for the shower. The water hissed on, steam drifting through the door, and I moved fast, grabbed her phone, flipped to the text, my pulse steady but loud in my ears. There it was, that number, 52, a string of messages from last night. "You looked amazing out there. Carino, when can I steal you again?" And her reply, sent while I'd been outside, "Soon. He's clueless." My breath stopped, the room tilting slow, not dramatic, not a crash, just a quiet crack like stepping on thin ice. I scrolled up, days of it, flirty, warm, his name popping up, Javier. Photos too, him on the beach, tan and grinning, her selfie in our hotel bathroom, caption, "Miss you." The shower kept running, her humming faint under the spray, and I set the phone back, exact spot, exact angle. My hand steady, though something inside shook. Javier, Mexican, gay, maybe not so gay, not with her. The cologne made sense now, the glances, the way she glowed on that dance floor. I stepped back to the balcony, coffee cold now, the sun climbing higher, the waves rolling on like nothing had changed. She came out later, towel wrapped, hair dripping, and smiled at me. "Boat tour today, right?" I nodded, "Yes, sounds good." My voice even, masking the cracks spreading through me. She didn't see it, didn't hear it, just kept moving, oblivious, while I stood there, the chain of weight I couldn't drop. The ocean glittered below, endless and calm, and I watched it, feeling the tide shift. Not loud, not yet, but coming. The boat cut through the Miami water that afternoon, a sleek white thing bouncing over the waves, the sun high and brutal overhead. All glare and heat, no shade to hide in. Lisa sat near the bow, sunglasses on, her laugh carried back by the wind as the guide pointed out dolphins flipping in the distance. I leaned against the railing, the metal warm under my hands, the spray misting my face, cool, fleeting, a relief I couldn't hold on to. Her phone was in her bag now, tucked away after the morning, but those texts, "Javier Carino, he's clueless," looped through my head, steady as the engines hum. She'd been texting again before we left, quick, secretive, her back to me in the hotel room. And I'd watched silent, the chain in my chest hardening into something I could grip. The boat rocked, the horizon stretched wide, and I stared at it, blue and endless, feeling the crack from dawn settle into something colder, something I could use. She didn't know I knew, couldn't know, not with the way I'd smiled over breakfast, nodded at her boat tour chatter, kept my voice even when she'd hug me on the dock, her damp hair brushing my cheek. That cologne was there again, faint, woody, Javier's mark, and I'd breathe it in, let it fuel the shift inside me. The guide droned on, something about mangroves, Biscayne Bay, and Lisa clapped, waved at the dolphins, her energy bright, too bright, like she was performing. I played along, snapped a photo when she asked, handed her a water bottle, let her lean against me as the boat turned back toward shore. "This is perfect," she said, her head on my shoulder, and I nodded. Yeah, it is the words automatic, hollow, while my mind spun elsewhere, to Javier, to her lies, to the quiet thing I was building beneath the surface. Back on land, The heat hit harder. Asphalt radiating up, the crowd buzzing around the marina, the air thick with salt and exhaust. Lisa wanted to walk, explore the shops, and I went with her, hands in my pockets, eyes on her as she flitted from stall to stall, buying a cheap bracelet, a postcard she'd never sent. Her phone buzzed once. She checked it fast, smiled, tucked it away, and I saw it. That same soft curl of her lips, the one from the club, the one not meant for me. The chain tightened, and I let it pull me towards something, not revenge, not yet, but a way to turn this back, to make her feel the weight I carried. I thought about her phone. No password, so easy to touch. And the text I could see again, maybe answer, maybe twist. The idea simmered, slow and cool, like the tide shifting under the docks. We stopped at a cafe, open air, fans whirring, the ocean glinting across the street. She ordered a lemonade. I got a beer, cold, sharp, steadying me as I watched her sip, her sunglasses pushed up, her eyes darting to her phone again. "Sarah?" I asked, casual, and she nodded. "Yeah, she's jealous of all this," her laugh too quick, too thin. I smiled, sipped my beer, let the lie hang there. Sarah, Javier, whoever she needed to hide behind. The waves crashed faint in the distance. The sun sank lower, and I leaned back, the chain a quiet strength now, whispering possibilities. She didn't see it, didn't feel the tide turning, and I kept it that way, calm and still, waiting for the moment to move. The Miami dusk settled slow that evening, a warm purple haze draping over the city. The ocean a dark shimmer beyond the strip, the neon flickering to life along Ocean Drive, the air buzzing with laughter and exhaust. We'd wandered back to the hotel after the cafe, Lisa's bracelet jangling on her wrist, her lemonade buzz fading into a quiet hum as she scrolled her phone on the balcony. I stood inside, by the open glass door, the AC's cool breath mixing with the heat drifting in, a strange balance like the one I was holding inside me. Javier's texts, her lies, that cologne, they'd stacked up, a tower of proof I couldn't knock over. Not yet. The chain in my chest was solid now, not just pulling but pushing, guiding me towards something. Not a fight, not a shout, but a quiet cut, a way to make her feel this without ever saying I knew. The waves rolled faint below, steady and sure, and I watched her planning. She didn't lock her phone. Never had. A habit I'd once thought was trust, and that was my way in. I'd seen enough already. Carino, clueless, Javier's grin on her screen, but I needed more, needed control. The idea had sparked on the boat, sharpened at the cafe. I'd use her own game, twist it, let her think she'd lost him without knowing why. I stepped closer, casual, leaned on the door frame. "Nice night," I said, and she glanced up, smiled. "Yeah, perfect," her voice light, distracted, her thumbs still tapping. I nodded, let her turn back, then slipped her phone from the table when she went inside for water. Quick, silent, my pulse even. The texts were still there, a new one for Javier. "Tomorrow, beach again?" Her reply, unsent, sat drafted, "Can't wait." I didn't flinch, didn't freeze, just scrolled, memorized his number, then set it back, exact spot before she returned. Later, she showered, the hiss of water, her humming drifting through the door, and I moved fast. My own phone in hand, I punched in Javier's number, drafted a text. Not from her, from me, pretending to be her. "Hey, this isn't working. Marked suspicious. We're done." Short, sharp, the kind of thing she might say if she panicked. I didn't send it. Not yet, but saved it, let sit there, a loaded gun I could fire when a moment hit. The revenge wasn't loud. No hacking, no public shame. Just a clean break, a ghosting she'd feel, thinking he'd walked away. She'd wonder, she'd ache, and I'd watch, quiet, letting her unravel without a word from me. The shower stopped, the room went still, and I tucked my phone away, the chain warm now, alive with intent. She came out, towel-wrapped, hair dripping, and flopped on the bed, phone in hand again, oblivious. "But was fun, huh?" she said, and I nodded. "Yeah, good day," my voice steady, masking the shift. She scrolled, smiled at something. Maybe him. And I leaned back, the balcony door open, the night humming beyond. 3 days left in Miami. 3 parts left in this. Tomorrow I'd send it, watch the tide turn, see her crack without ever knowing I'd pulled the string. The neon pulsed outside, the waves kept their rhythm, and I waited, calm, cold, ready. The Miami morning broke bright and hot, the sun spilling over the horizon like molten gold, turning the ocean into a shimmering blaze beyond our balcony. Lisa was up early, buzzing with energy, coffee in hand, her sundress already on, planning a beach day she didn't know would shift everything. I sat on the bed, sipping my own coffee, the cup warm against my palms, the chain in my chest a steady hum now. Not wild, not loud, just a quiet strength as I watched her move. She'd been texting again, her phone glowing on a nightstand while she brushed her hair, that secret smile flickering every time it buzzed. Javier, I knew, setting up their beach again plan. Last night, I'd locked in the words, "Hey, this isn't working." Mark's suspicious. We're done. And today was the day to send it from her phone, her voice, not mine. The waves crashed faint outside, the city waking below, and I waited, calm and still, letting her set the stage. We hit the beach by 10, towels down, the sand already scorching, the air thick with salt and sunscreen. She stretched out, phone in hand, snapping selfies, her laugh loud over the gulls. "Perfect day," she said, glancing at me, and I nodded. "Yeah, looks like it." My voice easy, masking the move I was planning. She kept it close at first, texting, smiling, but then she stood, grabbing a drink, she called, tossing her phone onto the towel as she headed for the vendor up the shore, her flip-flops kicking sand. I didn't hesitate, reached over, casual like I was adjusting the towel, and picked it up. Her screen lit up. No lock, same as always, and I found Javier's thread, typed fast. "Hey, this isn't working." Mark's suspicious. We're done. My thumb hovered, the chain warm now, and I hit send, watched it deliver a blue tick he read immediately. I deleted message and then set it back, exact spot, screen down before she turned around. She came back, water bottle in hand, her steps lighter than before, and flopped beside me, grabbing her phone, scrolling. I watched her from the corner of my eye, the chain tight, waiting for the crack. It didn't take long. Her thumb stopped, her smile faded, just a flicker at first, then a full drop as she stared at the screen. "Everything okay?" I asked, casual, tracing a line in the sand with my finger, and she nodded, too quick. "Yeah, just nothing," her voice thin, unsteady. She typed fast, frowned, typed again, no buzz back, no glow, just silent from his end. The ripple was there, small but growing, and I leaned back, the sun warm on my face, the waves a low hum in my ears. She didn't know I'd sent it, thought she'd done it somehow, or that he'd walked away. Either way, it was hers to carry now. The day stretched on, her chatter quieter, her phone checked too often, her eyes darting to it like it might explain. "Sarah being weird?" I tossed out soft, testing, and she shrugged, something like that, her laugh forced, brittle. I nodded, sipped my water, let the silence settle. Not loud, not a fight, just a gap she couldn't fill. The beach buzzed around us, kids shouting, waves crashing, but her world was shrinking, and I felt it. The chain loosening, the weight lifting, a calm satisfaction seeping in. She didn't glow anymore, not today, and I watched, quiet, as the tide I'd turned kept pulling her under. The Miami dusk crept in soft that evening, a slow bleed of orange and purple over the ocean, the air cooling just enough to feel the weight of the day lifting off the sand. We'd stayed at the beach too long. Lisa's idea, chasing the sun like it might fix something. And now we were back in the hotel room, the AC humming low, the balcony door open to let the waves whisper through. She was different since the beach, quieter, her phone clutched tight, her smiles rare and thin. I sat on the bed, flipping through a tourist pamphlet I didn't care about, watching her pace, barefoot, sundress wrinkled, her fingers tapping the screen again and again. Javier hadn't texted back. Not since I'd sent that message from her phone. Mark's suspicious. We're done. and the silence was doing its work, carving lines into her face I hadn't seen before. The chain in my chest was loose now, warm and still, a quiet victory I didn't need to shout. She stopped by the balcony, staring out the water, her back to me, her shoulders tight, and I heard her mutter, soft, almost lost in the breeze, "What the hell?" Her phone buzzed once. Not him I knew, maybe Sarah for real this time. And she checked it fast, frowned, tossed it onto the chair with a sigh. "You okay?" I asked, folding the pamphlet, my voice steady, curious, but not too much. And she turned, forced a laugh. "Yeah, just tired, I guess." Her eyes didn't meet mine, darted to the floor instead, and I nodded, long day, letting it hang there, letting her fill the gap. She didn't, just grabbed a water from the mini fridge, sipped it slow, her movements jerky, like she was unraveling thread by thread. The glow was gone, that bright, secret spark I'd seen in the club, on the boat, and I felt it, the tide I'd turned pulling her down, leaving her stranded. Dinner was quiet. A seafood place down the strip, all open windows and clinking glasses, the ocean dark beyond the pier. She picked at her shrimp, phone face down beside her plate. Buzzing twice, she ignored it, her jaw tight. "Sarah again?" I said, casual, cutting my fish, and she shrugged. "Probably. She's been weird." Her voice flat, a lie I didn't call out. I ate slow, watch her push food around, watch her check the time, the screen, anything but me. Javier's silence was a ghost between us. She didn't know I'd summoned it, didn't know I'd cut her loose, and it was enough, this quiet fracture, this weight she carried alone. "Good fish," I said, and she nodded. "Yeah, barely there," her eyes on the table, lost somewhere I didn't follow. Back in the room, she showered. Longer than usual, the water a steady hiss. And I stood on the balcony, the night thick around me, the city's pulse faint below. Her phone sat on the chair, dark now, no buzz, no glow. Javier gone, or so she thought, and I pictured her in there wondering, maybe texting again, maybe blaming herself. The chain eased, a calm settling deep. Not joy, not triumph, just a stillness I could live with. She didn't glow anymore, and I didn't need her to. The waves kept their rhythm. The stars blinked faint above, and I waited, quiet, for the last day to show me what was left. The last morning in Miami dawned soft, a pale gold seeping through the blinds, the ocean a gentle murmur beyond the hotel glass. No heat yet, just a stillness that felt like the end of something. Lisa was up before me, already packed, her suitcase zipped tight by the door, her sundress swapped for jeans and a loose shirt, practical, muted, like the spark had drained out of her overnight. I lay in bed a minute longer, watching her move slow, mechanical, her phone in her pocket now, not her hand, no buzz, no glow. Javier's silence had settled in deep, a weight she couldn't shake since yesterday, and I'd seen it. The way her eyes dulled at dinner, the way she'd stopped pretending everything was fine. The chain in my chest was gone, dissolved into a quiet hum. Not victory, not peace, just an emptiness I'd carved myself, a space where the hurt used to be. The waves rolled on outside, steady and indifferent, and I got up, packed my own bag, ready to leave this behind. She barely spoke over breakfast. A quick coffee in the lobby, pastries untouched on her plate, her gaze drifting to the window where the palms swayed lazy in the breeze. "Ready to go home?" I asked, stirring my cup, and she nodded. "Yeah, think so." Her voice flat, no trace of the bright Lisa who'd laughed on the beach days ago. I didn't push, didn't ask about Sarah, didn't mention the phone she hadn't checked in an hour. Just let the quiet sit, let it finish what I'd started. The text I'd sent from her phone, marked suspicious, "We're done," had done its job. Javier was gone, her secret snapped shut, and she'd never know I'd held the scissors. The lobby hummed around us, tourists checking out, staff sweeping up, and I sipped my coffee, tasting the bitter edge, feeling the story close. The cab ride to the airport was silent. Her staring out the window, me watching the city blur past, pastel hotels fading into gray highways, the ocean shrinking behind us. She didn't glow anymore, didn't hum, didn't lean into me like she had on the boat. I didn't need her to. The revenge wasn't loud, wasn't a fight. It was this, her sitting there, lost in a loss she couldn't name, while I sat beside her, free of the chain, free of the pull. "Good trip," I said as we boarded, casual, and she glanced at me. A flicker, a question maybe, then nodded, "Yeah." "Good trip," her voice small and certain. I smiled, just enough, and turned to the window. The plane climbing high, Miami dropping away below, a speck of golden blue, swallowed by clouds. Back in Ohio, the gray would wait, the house, the routine, the drift we'd never fixed. She'd wonder about Javier, maybe text again, maybe let it fade. I didn't care, not anymore. The chain was gone, the crack sealed, and what was left was ours to carry. Not broken, not whole, just there. The engines hummed, the sky stretched endless, and I leaned back, the light fading from her eyes, from us, as the miles pulled us home. Miami was over, and so was something else, quiet and final, a tide that had run its course.